Cinema Crunch, the podcast where we break down movies with honest reviews and no fluff. I'm your host, Gage, and each week we'll dive into a new film discussing what worked, what didn't, and whether it's worth your time. Today in the studio, I'm joined by Chloey.
Hey, what's up?
And George.
Hey, everybody.
And today's movie is 2022's Bullet Train, starring Brad Pitt, Joey King, Aaron Taylor Johnson, and Brian Tyree Henry. Directed by David Leitch, who also directed The Fall Guy, Deadpool 2, and Atomic Blonde. He also produced the first John Wick. Here's a logline for the film. 5 assassins aboard a swiftly moving bullet train find out that their mission has something in common. Stick around to the end for a final rating to see if the movie makes the cut.
Oh, lemon.
Tangerine.
You're bleeding, mate.
Oh, mate. Shit.
Oh, fuck.
Shit, man. Who the fuck did I kill?
Get a wet one on it or something.
Oh, it's not mine, mate.
Oh, it's not yours?
Yeah, I know. I don't bleed.
Oh, in that case, just leave your jacket open, let everyone have a good old look.
Yeah, I want everyone to see my tie.
What the fuck is wrong with you? Pull your coat together so no one else notices, Lemon.
I think they'll notice the childish code names first, but if we're going to stick with fruit, why not apple?
All right, so George, I know this was your pick. Definitely going to let you take lead on this. What were your thoughts?
Fantastic. You know, Deadpool 2, they had Domino, and they're like, how do we make luck look cinematic?
Yeah.
And he doubled down on Bullet Train. And on top of it, Brad Pitt, I'm not a big pit stop kind of guy, but that movie really put me on the Brad Pitt train. I got a ticket myself with the ladybug on that movie.
Yeah.
And the assassins he encounters, Halle Berry, the wolf, and I think, the prince, the girl, the main antagonist there, all had fantastic personalities to it. It felt like I was watching Kill Bill. Each one got a little segment, backstory, tie into what we're doing right now. Cool. I have no questions for moving forward. Aaron Taylor Johnson, Mr. Quicksilver himself. Mm-hmm. I want to dress up as him as on Halloween. His outfit was awesome. The mustache on point. And who could forget all the stickers? Thomas the Tank Engine. I mean, come on.
I love the Thomas the Tank Engine references in that. I was big into Thomas when I was a kid, and him just bringing up like, oh, well, here's Gordon. And it was insane.
I'm searching for a diesel on this train.
Oh my god, you're a diesel. That was hilarious. Every callback to that I was crying. I did also 100% see all the Kill Bill influence. Like it was they did that, I feel like, in a really good way. One of the influences I thought that they were getting, and I feel like they kind of missed the mark on it, was Kingsman. You've seen the Kingsman movies, right?
I didn't think about that.
I think a lot of the action scenes were supposed to be, like the fight scenes were supposed to be very Kingsman influenced.
Because they're a little silly.
They're fighting with a briefcase.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I think they were like really great choreography between. I think they were still really good fight scenes. I guess maybe I was just comparing it too much to Kingsman, and I feel like it didn't quite live up to that. I was trying to figure it out. I think it was either maybe the music choices or the lack of some of the like shots, and like there's a lot of like slow-mo shots and really creative shots in the like Kingsman series. But not that this was like particularly lacking, like to a point where I was like, oh, this isn't good. But I don't know. My brain just kept going back to that, and it made me feel a little disappointed in it.
Of
but they were
someone
still
doing a little better.
But they were still really good. I still really liked them. I thought also, want to hear both your thoughts on this, I thought Lemon and Tangerine were some of the best parts of the entire movie.
That dynamic was really good. I did like them a lot.
I would definitely watch a short film maybe, or like maybe not a whole nother movie, but I would definitely watch if they gave them like both a little more backstory, or like they showed like one of their other random missions that they did. Like I think I would watch that.
The character building for them was pretty good. I think we only got one cutscene of them when they were like kids.
Yeah.
Like to show that they were brothers. But I just remember, I mean, both times where we thought they were both dead was I was emotional. Like, it really was. I was like, wow, like that sucks. Because I think making one of them like kind of softer, so it's like you're instantly like, you don't know anything about this guy other than he likes trains, and you're attached because he likes trains. Like, that's great.
What a spokesperson for trains.
Oh my gosh, it was really good. I did like this movie.
I also like to think, like, if I was a hitman assassin, that I would have conversations like that too. Like, no, we killed 16 people. He's like, no, buddy, it was 17. He's like, what? Who? Oh, the guy, the driver. That's
pedestrian,
our fault.
yeah.
Which also makes it feel like they do that all the time. It makes you feel like, oh yeah, every time they do one of these, they count how many guys it was, and like one of them is always wrong about it or something. Like, it felt like a very funny back and forth that they do often.
The dialogue banter they had was very good. I think it was definitely one of the best in the movie. I'm trying to think of like other interactions between the people. I mean, Brad did okay. Like, I'm the same thing. I'm not a huge Brad Pitt fan, but he delivered. It was good. I was a little worried that he was too go with the flow. Because like when they build it up as like, oh, he's been going to a therapist, like he's going to be insufferable this whole movie. I think they could have did it worse. Like I think it definitely could have been like, okay, yeah, shut the fuck up. But it was more of like he genuinely thought that he was better for it, even though he is obviously like in the field of killing people. Yeah. He's like, guys, let's just talk about it.
Let's just talk this out. There's nothing that can't end in peace. There's no conflict that can't end in peace. Which I was also worried about that in the beginning. I was like, oh my god, am I gonna hate Brad Pitt by this? Because I, as opposed to you two, have always been a Brad Pitt fan. Love Brad Pitt. I think he's a great actor. And I think that at the beginning I was like, oh my god, I really hope I'm not gonna like this guy by the end. But I think you're right. Like as they were kind of exploring it, they didn't make it too preachy. They didn't make him like too annoying. Like I think he did a really good job.
I think it worked pretty well because it was Brad Pitt. Like
there's a door, but it's an illusion.
Yeah, it's actually a window of opportunity. I was like, oh my god.
Well, I think I even said that to you when we were watching it, when he said something about what it was, and I was like, you know why he's so good at being a dick right now? Because he's got that face. Like when I picture Brad Pitt, it's him being a pretentious asshole. So I think him kind of in this movie leaning into it a little bit was really good. Like I think if they had given this character and like this script to somebody else, it would have taken me a little bit more to believe it.
The only moment I got that vibe is when he said wasabi and he started eating the wasabi peas.
He did love the wasabi peas.
Oh my god.
I just don't get that from Brad Pitt. Like I said, I'm a big fan, but he did really good.
Same way, man. I didn't really pick up on. I'm like the only moment I can like kind of think of where you're coming from is like, oh, that voice crack too.
But I think there was a lot of really good, like, just witty dialogue between all of them. I think that was fun. I think that the character who played Prince, Joey King, or the actress that played Prince, Joey King, she did a really good job, I think, too. I think that, not that it was predictable that she was going to be the daughter in the end. Like, and that was another thing about the whole movie. I thought that when you could predict something, right? When you're watching a movie, you're like, oh, that's probably going to be that. This is probably going to be this. And I think there was some of it to it, but then there was always a twist. You were still right about that prediction, but then they also added something on top of it, which I thought was an interesting way to go, right? Because you can like start to see the pieces like come together, and you're like, oh, okay, so he was at his wedding, you know, and then he murdered the person. So then and then they all died from the poisoning. Oh, and then that person who did the poisoning is actually on the train. Like I think when they had those twists, you were still right about your prediction, but they added something extra to it, which I thought was interesting.
Did they ever say why the heart surgeon was killed?
Yeah, so Halle Berry, the Hornet, I'm trying to remember her name, because she had the poisonous snake.
Yes.
So her whole spiel was she poisoned at the wedding, and then when everybody was bleeding out their eyes from the wedding, they were like the only heart surgeon that could do it. She also tampered with his medical tools, so he was just like bleeding from his eyes, and he was like, what happened here?
But why did she kill him? I can't remember.
Because like the wedding, I feel like you kind of piece together that it's like because this guy kills a lot of people. Like the guy who's getting married kills a lot of people. So I was like, okay, yeah, like they're targeting him. But they kept cutting back to the heart surgeon. But like, what did the heart surgeon do?
I'm sure there was something else
to deserve death. Like, after the movie, I was like, I feel like that's the only thing I wasn't picking up on.
She was sent on the train to get the money from another job. So the White Death was like, he was kind of tricking everybody to get on the train. He wasn't expecting his wife to get in that car accident.
Right.
So she must have already done a hit on that heart surgeon because he was like a criminal underworld kind of guy.
Right.
It was
like
a coincidence
assume that he's
kind
bad.
of thing.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, any movie that sneaks Ryan Reynolds in is going to get some props for me. I love him. Oh, my God. No lines or anything. They probably even pay him. He probably just like, yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah.
They worked on Deadpool together. Why not?
Mm-hmm. Or you want to talk about when the one scene where he's trying to get that guy to help him and he like puts the newspaper down and it's fucking Channing Tatum.
Yes. Oh my God, Channing Tatum. We were talking about this during the movie. I was like, how did this happen to him? He was like, he was one of the biggest stars in like the early 2010s. He was sexiest man alive like 10, 15 years ago. And then now all of his bit parts or all of his roles are just him doing bit parts where he just does something funny.
He's either gay or he's like not playing a white man.
Yeah. Like when he was in This Is the End, like same thing where he's in the GIMP costume or like you said, like when he's in Deadpool and Wolverine, like, oh my God. Like all of his bit parts are like that now, which is hilarious, honestly.
I love a man with an accent.
Oh my God, he was so right that when he walked, he's like, he's got a good walk. I was like, he so does. It's like he kind of gets it.
Yeah, and Aaron Taylor Johnson also did a really good job in this. Everyone did a really good job. I was
Did he
really
play
happy with him.
Tangerine?
Yes.
I really liked him.
Yeah.
Didn't know who he was when we started watching it, and the whole movie I was like, I think do I like him?
Which is crazy because
he's cute.
He was huge when it came out, and he's still kind of huge now. But like he's big in Hollywood.
I didn't pick it up till my third watching. Lemon, when he hits Prince with a truck, he's driving a tangerine truck.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's some sweet justice
It
right
was
there.
so cute.
That was probably one of my favorite parts of it. Was that at the end? That's kind of like their full circle.
I said, "Oh, Tangerine," because I remember when we saw that Lemon wasn't dead.
Mm-hmm.
I was like a little upset, low key, because when that happens in movies, it makes me feel stupid for being sad that they were dead. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It just felt like, oh, okay, grieved for nothing. But then when it was, well, the other one, when Tangerine is actually dead, then I felt extra robbed, because it's like, wow, they both went through sorrow and one of them didn't even have to happen. And I was sad. But then when he got in the truck and it was like a full circle moment, I was like, okay, yeah, I changed my mind.
He drove the plot along. Same with that water bottle. It really made things.
That
keep
was
going.
so funny, because they were showing the history of every character, and then they're like, oh, also the water bottle was playing a huge part in this.
The Fiji water. Yeah, he got out the vending
Yeah.
machine. Yeah.
No, that part was hilarious. I think that kind of like, so I felt some type of way about like, it felt like every 5 minutes they were introducing someone else, and they were like either tying up or like clearing up some backstory for somebody, or they were adding new exposition for something. And like, I noticed it, and it wasn't a huge problem for me, but I was just like, wow, it felt like, and sometimes it felt like we were jumping from like set of characters to another set of characters with that, right?
I think that going into it, knowing that a lot of them were gonna be throwaway, like we were learning about the wolf, but like I was like, he just entered and they're about to fight, and it's the beginning of the movie, he's gonna die.
Yeah.
So I think knowing that we were getting backstory on these characters, it was cool to know like a little bit about them, but ultimately I'm not saving space in my head for this movie for this person, because I know they're gonna die.
Yeah. And I thought there was just a lot of that, the like random intro and like the random like throw off characters, which worked for it, I think. And I definitely think that the water bottle scene where they did the intro for him was funny.
I appreciate there was assassins and then not ninja, but like a swordsman backstory at the end there.
Yeah.
They had their showdown. It blended everything together
was
for
good.
me. Modern day stuff, the ancient times. Like it seemed like a John Wick kind of film. I mean, he directed it. I had a blast. I love those kind of movies.
It did feel like that. And I think that kind of sums up my thoughts about it. It was a good Sunday movie, something you put on, something you have fun with. Definitely would agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Anything else?
I think, I don't know, I feel like when you have a movie that's based on luck being part of it or bad luck being a part of it, it could have went worse. Like, I think they played really well. Like, there wasn't too many things that happened where it was like, oh, he's lucky. And I was like, okay, yeah, but that's not really lucky. That's like him, being
a conscious
crazy.
effort, yeah.
So there really wasn't any like takeaway moments while I was watching the movie that I was like, oh, that wouldn't happen.
Right.
There was one kind of towards the end where he's on top of the train, Tangerine's on top of the train, and he's punching through the glass to get in. Like, I know he wears big rings, so I'm sure that was part of it. And it was a silly movie, so like he can get away with stuff like that, but it was more of like a, hey, what are we doing?
Yeah, like, come on.
It was like he's definitely not punching through there, but then it's like, well, his bro is in there and he knows he's in trouble, so I kind of get it. I don't know. I thought it was good.
He took a water bottle to the head, right? Like a glass
The
water
false
bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That ding sound was really
That
good.
ding sound was really good. It was good.
There's probably
I think it
rage he was
good.
running off of, getting hit in the head with a bottle like that. And
That
throwing
he
out the
paid
train.
for?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Awesome. Well, we're going to get into our final ratings after this word from our sponsor. If you're interested in making your own short film, check out technovisionproductions.com and take them up on their short film production service to get started making your own today. And CinemaCrunch listeners get an additional 25% off through the end of 2024. All you have to do is use the promo code listed on our Instagram at CinemaCrunchPod. Alrighty, and we're back. Now is the time where we're going to give our official reviews. Just as a reminder, each individual person is going to give their review, and then the show is going to give their own overall review for the entire movie. So I'm going to go first. I'm going to go with a solid 3.5. Right, it was definitely worth the watch, especially just for that tangerine truck scene at the end. But overall, I'd say it's a really good, like, just Sunday morning movie. Really fun to watch, but I probably won't make a really extensive effort to watch it again. But I wouldn't hate it if I did. So, Chloe, what do you got?
I did enjoy this movie. I thought it was a good watch. Kind of similar. I would probably slip this into my comfort movie because I could probably put this on at any time of day and also be doing other things with it because it was funny. And there was, I don't know, 1 or 2 cute boys in it. So I think I'll rate it a 3.5.
Awesome. George?
Man, you guys. It's a 4.5 for me. I love this movie.
Awesome.
Brian and Aaron, they knocked it out the park. I love them both. Good stuff, everybody. Good job.
They definitely did, and it was good. And so that would give it an average of 3.84, and I'm going to just rise it up right to a 4.0. So 4.0 coming from the Cinema Crunch podcast. Awesome. Thanks for tuning in to Cinema Crunch. If you've enjoyed today's review, don't forget to subscribe to our show on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you find your podcasts. Want to join the conversation? Follow us on social media at Cinema Crunch Pod and tell us what movie we should review next. Don't wait. Subscribe now and never miss an episode of the Cinema Crunch podcast.